Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Lovely to have you here. So today I wanted to basically just do a bit of a demo on a new junk journal, which I'm really quite excited to make. This one's going to be sort of a little bit celestial, astrology sort of based. Sort of just going by the different colours and bits and pieces that I've got and the things that I quite like. So that's sort of the theme. If you're new to my channel, lovely to have you here. My name is Emma. If you haven't already, please do like and subscribe. I really appreciate it, and I do read and reply to all of the lovely comments that I get. I really appreciate your support. So to start with, I wanted to just talk to you a bit about sort of collecting bits and pieces to make junk journals. So obviously you've got sort of tape and glue and scissors and all of that, but I also keep offcuts of material, tissue paper just for a bit of texture. I sort of have some things I've torn out of magazines. And this is a piece of cardboard from a packaging box, and I loved the pattern and I thought, yeah, I think I can use this as the base for a junk journal. So one of the first things I just wanted to talk you through is how to make that basic cover, and as you can see, some of it's starting to come away. So what I want to do, just to sort of make it look more book-like, is I've got just some black tape here. So I'm going to pop this around the edges, and then I'm going to sort of start to make it look a bit more book-like. One of the other things which is really quite helpful to have is elastic bands. Now, if you've seen some of my other videos, you'll see I use these a lot just for making junk journals really simply, because it means you don't have to stitch your pages, signatures in. There are lots of different methods for sort of putting your insert pages into journals. Obviously you can stitch them. You can create little sort of tuck sort of pockets each side, and then sort of make your sort of page insert and then just slot each bit in. But elastic bands is a great way of doing it, because it means you can swap the signatures out, change them, update them. Especially if you are using the journal to actually write in. So if you've sort of filled it and you want some new fresh pages to write on, you can utilize these, and obviously you can get them in different colors to match whatever theme you're doing. So first thing I'm going to do is just think, this is going to be quite a small one, so you can see sort of based on the size of my hand, it's not going to be sort of a massive journal, but I do want a spine to be here. So I don't want to do just a clean fold, one fold in half. So I'm going to need a fold here and a fold here. So I'm not going to worry about measuring. I know a lot of people are really, really good about that, and they do measure things really, really well. I just don't. I like to be just a little bit more spontaneous, I suppose, and just let it go where it wants to go. So there's sort of my basic spine. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to cover the edges so it looks a little bit neater, and then I will come back to the camera. Okay, so I've just started to pop some of this tape sort of just on the edges. Then what I'm going to do is start to maybe decorate the inside a little bit. I'll trim off the excess, but you can see it looks a little bit more sort of book-like now, and obviously it will keep the cardboard a little bit stronger around the edges as well. And one of the things that I really do recommend when you're doing something like this and you sort of want to do it to a certain theme is to sort of think about the colours or patterns that really represent that theme. So for the one that I'm doing today, I'm probably going to look for sort of different tones of blue, anything that sort of looks a little bit sort of space-like. So this I got out of a magazine, I think was from a winter edition. So of course it's got these sort of tones in it. So it's always worth sort of looking through magazines for any interesting images, patterns, any colours. You can also use text as well, especially if you want to sort of start collaging a little bit. That can work really, really well. Okay, so that's sort of the main sort of edges. I'm just going to neaten this a little bit. Just trim this off a little bit like that. Okay, so I think I might use some sort of bits of this. I might sort of tear it up and then start just sticking some down in sort of a collage type way. I've got this Celtic symbol, which actually was from a box set, and the cardboard sort of started to get a little bit dented and sort of started to fall apart. So I thought, well, I'll just try and salvage some of the symbols and words from it, so I can use the bits up that are still sort of usable. So I'm going to pop this in here as well. And then, of course, if you've got any scrap pieces of card or paper or cut-offs of material like I've got here, then you can, of course, use those as your signatures to put in. And obviously you can think about how you want to decorate the front and the spine as well. So I will continue with this. I'll keep coming back to the camera so you can see each stage. So I will see you in a bit for the next stage of this. Okay, so what I've got is I had an old notebook that was basically falling apart, but the paper was still okay to use. So I've just sort of pulled it out of the rest of the notebook, and I'm just going to use the pages. So that's one set of signatures, and I'm going to put the other set in here. I've got some bits of paper that I've sort of just been cutting into little tags, some that I've torn, which I'm going to put in here as sort of other signatures. I don't know if this one's going to be, yeah, that might overhang a bit too much, so let me adapt that one. I'll pop this one in instead. So, as I said, the thing with any type of junk journal that you want to make is it's all about just experimentation, and, you know, feel free to try different things, you know, make mistakes as well, because, you know, that does happen, especially when sort of you're making them for the first time. So that's completely normal. So I've got a couple of little tags here, so I need to make some pockets for them. So using some of this sort of nice paper that I've got, I think what I might do is have a little sort of pocket maybe here. Maybe I'll use this as a little tag down the bottom, maybe, just for a different sort of bit of colour. So I'm just going to trim this like that, and I think what I might do is have that maybe at the bottom, and then I can just sort of have that as like a little section to put a little tag in. So let me do that. You can also use all sorts of different things for pockets. You can use bits of card. You can also use envelopes. I've used a lot of envelopes as sort of little pockets in some of my other videos. What I will do is I'll pop some of my other links to other junk journals I've made in the description, so you can just see some sort of basic ideas on where to start, because I really do like to make things that aren't really planned. I just sort of go with a basic theme, look through the stuff I've got, find something to sort of make the base sort of journal cover with, and just ad-lib it, really. I think that's a really good way of sort of learning how to do things, and just you know, sort of go with the flow a little bit with it. And I think that's really quite important, because obviously we all have a different way of doing things. And sometimes I think you can really get a bit sort of stuck in doing it a specific way that maybe, you know, someone else has shown you, and you really, really want to try and get something right. So I think it's really important to just not be sort of overly cautious with things, and just make them the way that you want to. And, you know, just try something and see how it looks. If you're not keen on something, you know, change it, go over it. I'm going to put a word of some sort here, because I've got like some text and stuff. So I'm going to outline these tags, make them a bit more sort of obvious so they stand out a bit more. I'm going to put some more signatures over here. Also, it's quite nice to do sort of torn edges like this as well. As you can see, you get just lots of texture that way. So I think that works quite nicely. And as I said, it's a wonderful way of just using up different bits and pieces, so that not everything has to be thrown away. You know, not everything will end up on landfill somewhere. So yeah, that's something that, you know, is obviously really important. So it's starting to show some promise, maybe, I think. I'm not entirely sure. I'm literally just kind of winging it at this stage. I think I'm going to make this into a pocket. So I'm going to stick this down. Oh, maybe I should do that. Yeah, I'm going to stick this bit down, and then just put another little tag in here. And I'm going to edge some of this. I've got some edging in here as well. Just, it really does make things pop. So I'm going to add a bit more, and then I will come back to the camera. Okay, so I've just stuck in this little edge here. I've got a little tag, and obviously I've now got another offcut from that corner I just made. So I might stick this on the back so that we can put some tags on the back of it. Just deciding which side I want that on, front or back. Yeah, I think I'm going to pop that maybe on the back. So as I said, just sort of have a look at all the different bits and pieces you've got. Play around with different things. Something else that can be really helpful is to take photographs of things when you've got them in a particular placement you like, so that when you take it all off and then go back to glue it, you know exactly where everything goes. So I'm going to do some more of this. I'm going to start to add some edging, so you'll see a bit of a difference when that's done. So I'll be back in a minute to show you more. Hi guys, welcome back. So this is the junk journal now, nearly sort of finished. I'm just adding some bits and pieces and starting to neaten up some of the edges. So talk you through where we were just now. So what I've done is some of the offcuts of bits of paper that you saw me sort of using for pockets and tags. I've put some of them on the front here, and then I've just edged them with these sort of sticky edge lines. Now these are used for card making most of the time, but I use them a lot in junk journals. You can get those in craft shops. I also had some of this sort of just edging thread. So I used this just to give it a little bit of sparkle. And I had just a few more of these sort of book end edges that I had years and years ago, and never used them. I found them in my craft box, so I've just started to glue these in place. This makes it look a little bit more journal-like now. A button, just random, thought I'd stick it down there. And yeah, as I showed you earlier, I've got two elastic bands in place here. So this is what holds the page signatures in place. So as I said, these were just some bits of paper from an old notebook that fell apart, so I kept the pages. These are some papers that I just sort of tore just to make it look a little bit more textured. And here are some of the inside pockets. Again, I've edged these, that makes such a difference. Got a little tag. I haven't put a little hole in it yet and some cord, but I will. And the same on the opposite side here. I've got a tag to go in here, like so. So this is it at the moment. I'm just waiting for this little button here to dry. And I think I might use the remainder of this up just to make something a little bit fancy, and then maybe tie some beads onto it, just so I've got like a little journal charm. So that's sort of the main bulk of this journal. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope it's given you some ideas and some inspiration for how you can use up old bits of cardboard from packaging, offcuts of paper, buttons, cord, all sorts of bits and pieces to make something a little bit different. So I will see you soon for my next video.